गुड आफ्टरनून। सिट। अच्छा, ड्राइंग चल रही है। ड्राइंग कैसे इतना टाइम मिल रहा है तुम्हें पेंट करने का? So you have got Nyaya notes? Okay. अरे ये योगा वाला देना क्या है? कल क्लास रहेगा. If there is any change of plan, we will inform. Fine. कुछ नहीं. Leave it, forget it. So there is this session in Hindu college. If anybody of you wants to click photographs or meet संदीप भैया, क्या नाम है? सनी हिंदुजा जी जो हैं, उनके साथ अगर आप फोटो खिंचाना चाहते हैं, बात करना चाहते हैं, तो माय स्टूडेंट्स आर आल्सो इनवाइटेड देयर, है ना? तो चुपके से भीड़ के बीच में से आगे कह देना, मैम हम आपके स्टूडेंट्स हैं, मैं खिंचवा दूंगी. बता के कि हम तथास्तु के स्टूडेंट्स हैं. हाँ, आईडी कार्ड तो है ना आपके पास, बस आईडी कार्ड दिखाना और अंदर चले. टाइम क्लास तो 3 o'clock के बाद है ना, वो मॉर्निंग में है सेशन. ऑनलाइन पीपल, यस यू आर आल्सो इनवाइटेड इफ यू कैन कम. है ना, यू विल बी इनवाइटेड टू, बट कैसे आओगे यार? वैसे मुझे लगता है ऑनलाइन वाले बच्चों के लिए ना, ऑफलाइन वाले बच्चों को वो लेके चलना चाहिए, क्या कहते हैं उसको? हाँ हाँ, है हैंडी कैम टाइप का कुछ. ओके फाइन, कमिंग बैक, वेयर वर वी? ठीक है. So what are the 8 steps? When I ask a particular person, I intend, who should answer? Very good, very good. How many type of yum are there? Red t-shirt. लगा मुझे. नेबर. तो ऑनलाइन क्लास वाई? तुम्हें इससे लगा था इन्फेक्शन? हाँ, ओके. Yeah. What are the various kinds of yum? Aparigraph. Very good. And how many type of niyam? Who can tell? Ishwar Paridhanta. Very good. Very good. Very nice. And what is the meaning of pratyahar? What is the meaning of pratyahar? Withdrawal of senses. And dharan? Concentration on one thing. And dhyan? Proper meditation. Okay. And sampragyata and asampragyata? ये नहीं पता? Very good. Yes. कोई अंतर नहीं. Meditation is the advanced stage of concentration. है ना? When you are concentrating on one thing, the consciousness and the awareness of that thing remains. है ना? There is this particular thing which remains. You understand that I am looking at a dot. You understand I am looking at a cow. But when slowly the consciousness of cow also goes away and your mind is actually empty, there is no thought, that thoughtlessness. So right now there are thousands of thoughts. You withdraw, coming to only one thought, keeping that one thought for a long period of time without wavering out, without getting disturbed. This means your mind becomes stable. And then you also eliminate, or you just focus and this item will go away itself. And then your mind becomes thoughtless, completely calm. And in that ripple-less chit, in that undisturbed chit, you clearly see that self and chit and all other products are different. You yourself are only Purush. The real identity is of light, illumination. You are actually not this Prakriti or material things. And the moment you realize, your attachment to all things material starts to dissolve, in simple terms. Fine? Okay. So let us see that Samadhi part. So how many types of Samadhi? देखो, Samadhi is an important topic, है ना? Let us write about Samadhi a little bit. Acha, how many of you are going home on Diwali? All of you? All of you are not going. Who all are not going? अच्छा, बहुत सारे लोग नहीं जा रहे हैं. तो यहाँ पे क्या करेंगे दिवाली पे? हाँ, कहाँ? जैसे कहाँ जाओगे? हैं? Okay, no, you do self-study, but you people are cordially invited. Whoever is not going to your homes, you people can come here. And if you are feeling low, you can call me and come to my home. हाँ? क्या चीज? क्या होगा? टेस्ट ले. क्या? एक्स्ट्रा क्लास ले लेती हूँ मैं. हाँ? नहीं, so you people can come to my place, no problem, है ना? हाँ, जो घर पे बनेगा वही खाना पड़ेगा, ठीक है? ओके, फाइन. कम लिखो. डिटेल्स बाकी सब चीजों की मिल जाएंगी. अपन सिर्फ और सिर्फ समाधि पे करेंगे. बाकी सबकी आपको प्रिंटेड नोट्स में मिल जाएंगी डिटेल्स, ठीक है? Samadhi is the last and the ultimate stage. Is the last and ultimate stage of yoga. Full stop. After one has disciplined one's mind to focus on one particular thing for a long time, then one becomes a ready aspirant for, then one becomes the ready aspirant for samadhi. Ready aspirant for samadhi. Full stop. Samadhi also corresponds to two chitta bhumis, that is ekagraha and niruddha. Ekagraha and niruddha. Full stop. Next point. During ekagraha, chit is purged of impurities. Chit is purged of impurities. Purged मतलब होता है throwing out. Purged. या फिर there is removal of impurities and perfect manifestation of sattva. अंकित वीडियो का एक बार देखिए क्यों लैग कर रही है. हाँ बेटा, जब आप दिल्ली आएंगे आप मिल सकते हैं. परफेक्ट मैनिफेस्टेशन ऑफ सत्व. due to prolonged concentration, the object reveals its true nature. Due to prolonged concentration, the object reveals its true nature. Preparing the way for complete cessation of mental modification. Preparing way for complete cessation of mental modifications. In this stage, one enters the chitta bhumi of niruddha. In this, one enters the chitta bhumi of niruddha. Next point. In niruddha, there is complete cessation of all mental activities. There is cessation of all mental activities and even concentration. Full stop. There are no successive mental states. No thoughts, no activity. Therefore, chit is in its original. Unmodified state of calmness. And peace. Next line. असंप्रज्ञ योग या फिर असंप्रज्ञता योग. अब जो ये हमारा देखिए दो या फिर संप्रज्ञता लिखते हैं पहले. संप्रज्ञता मीन्स जब हम एकाग्र वाली स्टेज में है, दैट इज संप्रज्ञता, and second is asampragyata. It will enter when we will enter which state? Niruddha. When we are concentrating on something, anything, maybe a thought, maybe a feeling, maybe anything we are concentrating on, at least there is something. There is at least one thing. There is something. In this ekagra stage, we enter what kind of samadhi? Sampragyata. There is something. याद ऐसे रखना है. Sampragyata मतलब there is something. Ekagra. But once you start focusing on something, one and only thing, this object you are focusing on, this feeling you are focusing on, it reveals its true nature. Reveals its true nature means you start finding hidden things within that thing. Supposedly you are concentrating on this. If you will concentrate long enough on one particular dot of this particular disk, initially you will find nothing. It will just remain just a dot. But if you reach the higher stages of meditation, you might even be able to see things moving within itself. You might be able to discover that, oh, it has so many atoms. Atoms are not visible to naked eyes. Then you might even discover that it's a universe of its own. And when you reach this stage in this whole process, there are numerous superpowers that come along the way. What are superpowers? Supernatural powers. What are they? Have you heard the stories of yogis? So Yogi was walking on the water. So Yogi was once at this time, at the same time he was here also in Kashi also, and he was at the ghats of Narmada also. Not possible. There are stories like of yogis who always create fragrance. There are stories of yogis who can create something out of air. Telekinesis, telepathy, all kinds of teleportation, everything. And all these stories of supernatural powers have been described in yoga philosophy. So according to them, when a person starts the whole process of yoga, and specifically after the external actions, the external yoga is complete, when we enter the internal yoga, what are the steps of internal yoga? Dharan, Dhyan, Samadhi. Only 3 are there in internal. We have written this or not? Nahi likha? करवा दिया था ना मैंने. हाँ. So internal yoga means dharan, dhyan and samadhi. When we enter this internal yoga, some kind of supernatural powers start to descend on the person meditating. But is it the ultimate objective of yoga? What is the ultimate objective of yoga philosophy? Liberation. So all these supernatural powers that a yogi get, what are they? Mere distraction. So should a yogi focus on this? So yoga philosophy definitely and very concretely say that yogi should not become distracted by the supernatural powers that are being bestowed on yogi. So if a yogi becomes really prideful and really arrogant after getting certain powers, so powers like they can know past, present and future of a person, any person, and they start telling, tu to पिछले जन्म में घोड़ा था. So person comes and says, I know about everything about you. You are having extramarital affair. So what is yogi doing? Getting distracted. They are actually using their powers, which is not intended towards calming the chit, but they are using it. They are rather using it to ruffle the chit. And these superpowers actually ruffle most of the yogis. 99% will become distracted, arrogant, and take the path of miracles. They will become obsessed. Of course, after some time, if you lose the calmness of chit, the superpowers will also go. They will also leave you. But yes, these are very difficult to avoid. And yoga philosophy categorically say that yogi should avoid being distracted by these supernatural powers. They should not use these powers for any materialistic gains with any desire or any selfish means, because ultimate aim of yoga philosophy is to find liberation, and to find liberation means discriminative knowledge between Purush and Prakriti. And if you keep constantly on path, you enter where? Niruddha stage of your Chitta Bhumi. And in this Niruddha stage of your Chitta Bhumi, it is called as Asampragyata. What is Asampragyata? Here there is nothing. No thoughts, no activity, complete calmness. And in this complete calmness, you find liberation. When you see yourself concretely, अपनी आंखों से, मतलब आंखों से in the sense not this आंखें, from your yogic intuitive knowledge, you have realized that you are only consciousness, true consciousness, pure consciousness. And you are not this body, you are not this chit, you are not this material world. And if you see the reality of this material world, that it is just the evolute of Prakriti and it will go back to Prakriti, you become detached. And that detachment you have from the world, like supposedly, if you get some facts after moving out of class, you get concrete evidence that all this is a video game. That all this is a video game and you are being part of this video game. And all the characters around you are fake. So will you be attached with others? Still, will you be attached? Will you cry if something happens, or will you say to a character, oh no, please don't go, मैं तो मर जाऊंगा. Will you do that? So exactly this is what happens to a yogi in Asampragyata. You realize that you are completely different from Prakriti, and this detachment is liberation. Immediately the person achieves what? Jivan Mukti. And after the prarabdha karmas are also over, you achieve Videha Mukti. Fine?
जीवन मुक्ति के बाद ऐसा one of the source मतलब जिस विधि के लिए ना प्रमाण मिलता है, सब देख रहे हैं, उसके बाद भी वो देखेगा,
सब कुछ करेगा, but the chit will not. It will be desireless, it will be dispassionate. अंत में सब कहाँ पहुंच रहे हैं? Everybody. Jainism. Now we have read, apart from Charvak, Jainism, Buddhism, Sankhya, and everybody reaches where? Dispassionate. Ultimately, after Jivan Mukti, everybody is existing. And why are they existing? Accumulate. And why they don't accumulate new karmas? Nishkam kar. So the only way to avoid getting trapped into the karma cycle is Nishkam kar. What is Nishkam kar? Disinterested action. Disinterested action, basically you are not looking for a selfish interest in that. What is selfish interest? Supposedly your friend asks you for your notes, the most precious notes you have made. And after 1 month of deep study, you made some kind of notes and your friend knows about it, and he says or she says, you know, I will make a photostat of it and I'll read. And you know that your friend's retaining power is better than you. And if he or she reads these notes, they will be able to express much better. Fine. And now you cannot say no to your friend. You gave your friend notes. Then immediately, what will be your thoughts? You did some karma. What are your thoughts? Arey, chair dena. What are your thoughts? उसके comparison में कम marks आएंगे. And how many of you also start looking at his notes? कि अब मुझे भी उससे कोई notes चाहिए. And supposedly, he or she has also made some notes of a different subject. What will you do then? Interested action. Immediately when you help somebody, do you want recognition? Supposedly, you went on a road and you found some a beggar, very hungry. And you gave that person 500 rupees के खा लेना चलो, ठीक है? अरे आजकल beggars वापस कर देते हैं 1 रुपया दो तो. हाँ. If you give 1-2 rupees ना, they like it. 10 के नीचे नहीं लेते हम लोग. किसी के साथ हुआ है? Happened with you? हाँ. So once we were standing somewhere and some person came and I gave him some change that was given. 10 के नीचे. ये आप ही रख लो. So they have their standards too. Huh? So the moment you give them 500 rupees, do you immediately come and tell this to other people? Will you click a selfie? No. Or will you tell, you are saying no. But if you give 500, you will immediately come back and tell your roommate, parents, everybody. You know what I did today? I felt so good about it. The idea is, all of this is what? Interested action. Disinterested action means, if you are not worried, what will be the consequence? If you are not worried whether you get a credit or not, you are not worried that what will you get back if you gave someone something. So that kind of attitude, if you carry, then is there any suffering? Will there be any suffering? All your suffering starts. I respected that person. मैंने उसे बोला भाई, और वो मुझे तू करके बात कर रहा है. It all starts with this. All your family disputes start with, all your family members think that they have done too much for the family. And we were never given something in return. Have you heard say your dadaji, your father? हमने तो हमेशा जीवन भर परिवार के लिए काम किया. इतने से थे, उन्हें पाला. आज देखो. All of this is interested action. Therefore, the cause of suffering. But if you are not having these expectations from the starting, you did what you did because it was to be done. And then you are not expecting. Supposedly, your very good friend who you helped when he was in trouble, when he was sick, and you took that person, you missed your exam, you did that and everything. And after some time, you call this friend and say, "Ki, will you come? I am in trouble." Maybe to doctor, and that person says, "भाई मैं तो जा रहा हूँ, मेरी friend बुला रही है, या जो भी, या मैं तो movie देखने जा रहा हूँ, मैं नहीं आऊँगा." What will happen? What will you feel? Huh? You will feel cheated. You will feel hurt. You will be angry. This means when you help that person, you already invested an interest. This means you already expected, or you believed that I am helping, therefore this person will also help. When you think like this, what is this? Interested action. Disinterested action means? Simple. So even if that person comes and says to you, "I will not come," you will not be angry. It's okay. And that's very difficult to achieve. But ultimately, suffering will go away only with nishkam or disinterested, dispassionate actions that there are. When you people, abhi to nahi ye sab karne ka hota ho, lekin when you people will, after you grow up, join some, all these, what do you say, life-changing classes and all these goes on. Spiritual classes. There are numerous classes internationally that are going on. If you go, ultimately they tell you this, which in philosophy you learn simply like that. They just tell you this, that way to calm, peacer, better you is less expectations. Less expectations means disinterested action. Simple. $1 million advice given with a disinterested heart. Okay, fine. दे से चलता नहीं है, क्या नहीं चलता भाई? अच्छा, अमीर बेगर्स. अच्छा. yes मैम, इस पीरियड में विपश्यना करनी चाहिए क्या? Not feeling well? You want some medicine? Okay. You people eat outside kya? Why don't you people get numbers of some good food delivery people? So why don't you put mask? Okay. But you people, take care of your health, है ना? Don't succumb. Excuse me. मतलब, take care of your health. Learn some life surviving skills. है ना? Boys, don't feel like you can't, what do you say? Hold a pan in your life. You can. It's not heavy. It's not heavy. You can do it. देखो, for our content team, I have arranged for the lunch, because these are also kids, and these people, I don't want them to eat outside food and then fall sick. वरना मुझे बनाना पड़ेगा content. So no, not with that selfish intent, but yes. So there are certain people who are making good hygienic home food. You can find numbers with Mr. Dheeraj outside. I think they have put it somewhere also. I asked them to put some good numbers on board or somewhere. Reception. Ha. है ना. So you people can, so there are 2-3 good options. There is a mess on Shankar Road. Earlier it was there. I don't know if it still exists. There was a mess where you can find affordable food, hygienic food. Right? You don't fall ill with that. Apart from that, a lot of people, women are doing home cooked food delivery service. Don't go for very commercialized ones, because the moment they become commercialized too much, they start using bad oils and all of these things. So do that. And when you are not wanting, it's not always you need tiffin service or all these things. You can just buy a rice cooker. है ना. I think दिवाली का टाइम है, रिलेटिव्स को बोलो कोई गिफ्ट कर देगा. है ना. So it's maybe 1,000 rupees of cost of a rice cooker. So I'll tell you few very important surviving skills I'm telling you of Rajendra Nagar. Buy some dalia. Ready-made daliyas are also MTR का आता है. घर का भी दलिया ले आओ. हाँ, थोड़ी सी चावल ले आओ और मम्मी से मिक्स करवा के दाल ले आओ. वो दाल खिचड़ी ले आओ. If people don't like khichdi, avoid it. But if you like, it's okay. Huh? Buy some breads, buy some biscuits, and apart from that, keep some healthy things at your disposal. है ना. जैसे मम्मी से अचार ले आओ, मठरी बनवा के ले आओ. मठरी, you know मठरी? So you get some of these things. Now, सिंपली राइस कुकर में दलिया डाला, पानी डाला. अगर वो रेडीमेड वाला है तो बस 5 मिनट में तैयार. Eat it at your home. Don't drink cold drinks with the food. What you can do? Buy रूह अफ़ज़ा. 3-4 squashes, है ना. 3-4-5 कलर के squashes ले आओ और अलग अलग टाइप के बना के पियो. If you want to drink something, I know when you are watching Netflix, eating food, you want something to drink also, है ना. So rather than going for some junk and unhealthy things, कुछ रूह अफ़ज़ा मिला के पी लिया, कुछ छाछ, ठंडी छाछ पहले से आज जाते हुए खरीदते हुए ले गए, है ना. Take some of these things along with you. Similarly, tehri is a very good option. Tehri is just like vegetable pulao. So what do? उसमें भी ज्यादा कुछ नहीं करना. Buy some vegetables along the way. 1 carrot, 1 onion, 1 potato, है ना. 1 थोड़ी सी वो अगर फ्रिज है घर में तो वो मटर आती है सफल वाली, है ना. If you don't have क्या कहते हैं वो फ्रिज नहीं है तो कोई बात नहीं, है ना. तो उसको थोड़ा थोड़ा सा खरीद के ले जाओ. 2-4 कुछ नहीं करना. ऐसे बस उसे धोना है. धोया और एक चॉपर खरीद लो. काट नहीं पाओगे, है ना. What is this chopper? It is again 300 rupees chopper. 300 rupees में आ जाता है. तो total investment is 1,000 rupees, maybe the rice cooker, 300 rupees chopper, है ना. So you put the vegetables onto it, chop it, put the vegetables, put the rice, put water and salt and चाट मसाला. एक दिन चाट मसाला डालो, अगले दिन मैगी मसाला डालो, है ना. फ्लेवर चेंज, है ना. उसके अगले दिन ये सॉस आती है ना, शेजवान सॉस, ये सॉस वो सॉस, है ना. अगले दिन कोई सी एक सॉस डाल दो. Idea is with that rice, with that only rice, you can cook 4-5 kinds of things. And once you start eating this with curd, lovely and tasty, very tasty, much better than this random foods. If supposedly someday you are not able to cook, you have breads, buy some jams, sauce, bhujia, and all the kind of the Haldiram bhujia. Sauce लगाओ, भुजिया डालो, bread बनाओ, खा लो, jam खा लो. If you find nothing else, दही लगा लो, मसाला डाल लो, खूब सारा, बहुत अच्छा लगता है. सब चीज अच्छी लगती है ना. Do like this. समझ में आ रहा है? But don't fall ill because of eating dirty food. here and there. Simple. And there are many other things. हाँ, रेडीमेड पराठे वराठे भी होते हैं. Yes. Yes, खाना खजाना with Dr. Taru ma'am. Oh, मैं ये भी कर सकती हूँ. Were my recipes good? Do tell me, huh? Do comment. Maybe my next profession. I'm preparing for that. Okay, fine. Coming back. So, asampragyata is there. Okay, fine. Let us see. Let us read. ये मैं लिखवा दूं क्या आपको कंप्लीट पूरा लिखवा ही देते हैं ना. चलो कंटिन्यू. राइट. संप्रज्ञता. संप्रज्ञता. in sampragyata state of concentration or ekagra or state of concentration is permanently established clearly established, and there is clear and distinct consciousness of, object of contemplation. Distinct consciousness of the object of contemplation. Clear and distinct consciousness of object of contemplation. Contemplation means the one you are focusing on. Contemplation. It is also known as sampatti. Sampatti or sampragyata. Sampatti or sampragyata samadhi. In this state, chit assumes the form of that particular object only. Assumes the form of that particular object only. Sampragyata samadhi is of various kinds. First is savitark. Savitark means gross object, like cow, image of a god. Savitark. लिखा भी हुआ है इसमें नोट्स में. सवितर्क. इसके डिटेल्स लिखवा देती हूँ मैं. विपश्यना जाया जा सकता है, but I will say first study and then go on all these things. Savitark. It is the concentration on any gross physical object. It is the concentration on any gross physical object. Example, image of the god, comma, table, or any gross object, basically, full stop. Second is savichar. Savichar samadhi or concentration. Here, subtle objects like tanmatras. Subtle objects like tanmatras. What are tanmatras? 5 tanmatras. What are the 5 tanmatras? Touch, sound, all of these. So you are on one thing which you can sense. You are focusing on only the voice that is coming out from outside. You are not focusing on anything else, but only the sound. Either you are not focusing on anything, only the thing that you are seeing. So one sense organ you are completely focusing. And there comes a time when actually people phase out. Phase out means they are able to focus on only one kind of sense. Example, somebody asked me about this Vipassana. So when you do Vipassana, after third, fourth day, how many of you know about Vipassana? So Vipassana is a Buddhist way of meditating, and there are around like what? 150, 160 Vipassana centers all across the world. They are free of cost as a meditative retreat of 10 days. In those 10 days, you cannot have access to external world, like you cannot use your phone. It's a free of cost thing. But limited seats होती है, you have to apply and there is a waiting and everything. And but it's a very good experience. So in after third or fourth day in Vipassana, they tell you that you cannot move. You cannot move and you just have to focus on your breath. And if somebody tells you, don't move, like try, don't move. No, don't move, matlab don't move. Maintain it for 2-3 minutes. ये कौन से लोग हैं, हिंदी समझ नहीं आती क्या? आईज भी नहीं. What happens when you start to still yourself? अब बोलो चलो. क्या था वो, स्टैचू और नॉन स्टैचू? हाँ हाँ, क्या होता है? वो क्या करते थे, स्टैचू करते थे ना. अच्छा, ओवर. हाँ. So what is the next thing that comes to you the moment someone asks you to be still? All the things you want to move about comes into play. Immediately आप बैठोगे, आपको खुजली होनी स्टार्ट हो जाएगी. क्योंकि now you अभी तो हम लोग बहुत लंबे टाइम तक नहीं कर सकते थे, लेकिन if you go back home, try to just sit in one posture, nothing moving, not your eyes, not your hands, nothing. Just try to sit still and you will realize it is very difficult. It is very difficult because the moment you try to still yourself, you will want to move at any cost. Your eyes will be like कि उधर क्या हो रहा है, मैं देख लूं. दिमाग तो छोड़ो, दिमाग तो जो घूमेगा वो तो घूमने ही दो. Apart from that, your mind is wandering, but your body itself will not be able to tolerate that stillness for a long time. And for this discipline, one has to, when you start disciplining yourself, once you focus on gross object, and when you start concentrating on only one sense, you zone out all other senses. This means if you are just focusing on hearing thing, if your eyes are also open, something will pass, you will not be able to see because you are focusing on that one particular tanmatra. That is sa-vichar. Clear? Okay. After is आनंद, सानंद. इसको सानंद भी बोलते हैं, आनंद भी बोलते हैं. अच्छा, इसमें लिख लिया हमने subtle objects like tanmatras. Okay. Then next is sa-anand. sa-anand samadhi. सिंपल आनंद भी बोल सकते, पर सा आनंद लिख लो ना, जब सब सब स है तो सा आनंद. It is the concentration of subtler objects like, it is the concentration on subtler objects like sensation, like bliss. Sensations like bliss. So you are just concentrating on one emotion, one feeling, one sensation. पहले तो सारी sensations, पहले तो एक sense organ type से आप focus कर रहे थे. And now you start focusing on only one sensation. Only one sensation. Supposedly हवा चल रही है, तो you are just focusing on the sound of that air. पीछे हॉर्न बज रहा है, पीछे कोई चिल्ला रहा है, whatever in the background is going on, even the louder voices are, you are not able to hear. Why? Because your complete focus is on that subtle voice that you want to focus on. And if you can focus on that subtle one sensation, that is sanand. एक particular आनंद पे या एक particular sensation पे आप focus कर रहे हैं, sanand. And last is अस्मिता. अब अस्मिता word बताओ किस लिए use करते हैं? Why do we use, where do we use this word? Ego. This means you will have to concentrate on ego complex. Your ego complex. Last is सस्मिता. इसमें आई थिंक इन्होंने ना एक एस मिस कर दिया सानंद और सस्मिता में. एस लगा लो बस. सस्मिता. Here the object of concentration is ego complex. Here the object of concentration is ego complex. With the concentration on ego, you realize the true nature of ego. You realize the true nature of ego. True nature of ego. After this yogi, next point, after this yogi enters asampragyata samadhi. After this yogi enters asampragyata samadhi. And in this asampragyata samadhi, there is withdrawal of everything. Gross चला गया. अब किसी gross चीज पे आपका concentration नहीं है. तन्मात्र पे भी नहीं है. Sensation पे भी नहीं है. Ego पे भी नहीं है. Ego से आप आगे बढ़े. All your, what do you say, concentration is empty. Ego के अंदर आपने देखा और आपको realize हुआ, you are only the Purush, you are only the illumination, you are just the light falling on Chit. You are not even that Chit. You are just the consciousness, nothing else, pure consciousness. And you realize yourself as different from all these things. And thus, the moment this is realized, you achieve what? Jivan Mukti. And now, even when you are Jivan Mukt, you want to continue. So once you have seen the real world, or once you have seen the reality, you want to continue seeing that reality. So you will again and again and again try to meditate. And now somebody comes to you and says, movie dekhne chalenge. Will you be interested in seeing movie? You will be more interested in repeating that particular experience of seeing the reality, because in that particular meditative state, you are not suffering. You are not even in pleasure, but you are completely calm and peaceful. How many of you have ever felt peaceful in your life? Is it a better feeling than pleasure itself?
Yeah.
Pakka? Yes. So peace, being at peace is a much better feeling than even pleasure. Like what, if somebody says, will you want peace or will you want a cone of vanilla? Vanilla and chocolate. Materialistic बच्चे 10 करोड़ और वो मैंने इसलिए नहीं दिया तुम्हें ये ऑप्शन because I know what will you choose. So the peace is a very, very what do you say, very, very attractive. Only people who have felt it will realize it, because being at peace is something really valuable. And the moment a person has realized or they have experienced what being at peace is, they are not any more interested in the worldly pleasures also, and they just want to continue that. And this is known as nirbij samadhi. Nirbij samadhi means there is nothing at the center, nothing. There is no thought, there is no desire, nothing. So when you hear about yogis sitting for samadhi for months alone, वो समाधि में गए थे, वो cave में गए थे, yogi went to a cave and came out after 3 months, and scientists are saying, how can a person survive without water and food for 3 months? They are doing experiments. And now, have you seen these types of some videos? Recently, there was a video of recorded by Indian Army personnel. नहीं देखी? देखिए? So there was this yogi they found at the peaks of Himalaya, है ना? Full ice, and that yogi was meditating under the ice with only one langoot. And that army personnel who recorded was shivering in cold, wearing like numerous coats, jackets, and this and that and everything, and still they were shivering. And this person was naked, nearly naked. This yogi was naked, and they were, of course, they don't want to get captured by anyone, anyone's camera. They are not interested in all this. It happened so that that soldier was passing by, and this yogi was buried in the ice. He himself buried himself. He was buried in the ice, and he didn't knew कि वो वहां से जा रहे हैं. वो उठे, ऐसे ऐसे उन्होंने अपनी ice झाड़ी योगी ने, and he was walking by. And this soldier captured the whole scene. And of course, the moment he saw that somebody is capturing, he ran away. The yogi ran away because he didn't want to get pestered by all these things. But yes, it was captured. So this means there are people who are working on maybe this kind of art. So that where they go, when they go into this deep samadhi, that is known as nirbij samadhi. The last one. And the last one, dharma megh samadhi या फिर केवल. Simple. Done? Ego complex is your own self. Ego means I. People who have read Husserl, they will be able to identify. At the end, you have to also discount your ego, I. Similarly, in philosophy, in this here, asmita, sasmita means you even have to dissociate from your I. It is I who is meditating. Till this time, you were maintaining, I am seeing this, I am having this sensation. This particular sensation is being felt by me. But at the end, you also remove, by concentrating, you also remove this I. ये जो I है ना, मैं देख रहा हूँ, ये मैं हटेगा तभी तो चित्त दिखेगा. You remember from mahat to ahankar. So only if ahankar will go, only then you will be able to see the mahat or chit. In that sense, if you try to understand. So ego complex must go, because till the time you have that ego complex of me, mine, Will you see the universal truth? No, because particular person cannot see universal truth. For understanding the universal, you will have to be merged with the universal. ये योगा ने नहीं बोला, ये समझाने के लिए मैंने बोला. Sasmita is removing I. So after you concentrate on I, you understand the real nature of I. You realize there is no I. Till the time, so first you have, if you want to understand the real nature, you start concentrating on that. And when you concentrate on something, the real nature reveals. You realize there is nothing which I can call I. Because what am I? Just the conglomeration of particles. Just the conglomeration of particles. And can I say the thoughts are mine? No. They are the product of intellect. Intellect is again based on matter. Are my feelings mine? No, they are based on sense organs, and sense organs are material in nature. They are again external. There are people, if supposedly a person stops having the sensation of smell, will the eye go? No, person will remain. This means that this is something external to the eye. And when you start concentrating on your eye, you realize that there is nothing which is I. So it is actually removal of I. The moment you concentrate on I, you realize there is nothing which can be called I, and I also goes away. Terminology for saying when it's like prolonged period of samadhi. ना prolonged period of samadhi. ये हमने बहुत ज्यादा लिखा है, हम इसे सिंपल भी लिख सकते हैं. है ना? सिंपल संप्रज्ञता एंड असंप्रज्ञता. असंप्रज्ञता लिख लो फटाफट थोड़ा सा. Here Chit becomes completely free from thoughts. Here Chit becomes completely free from thoughts. And attains complete calm. 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 That is stoppage of all mental modifications. Stoppage of all mental modification. In simple terms, the whole world of objects the whole world of objects cease to exist for yogi. The whole world cease to exist for yogi. Cease to exist matlab stop existing for yogi. And self is in its pure nature. In its original essence, that is pure consciousness. It is the final goal. That is liberation, or a state of liberation. It is the final goal. That is the state of liberation. Free from pain, suffering, as well as bliss. Free from pain, suffering, as well as bliss. Only with the presence of peace. Only with the presence of peace. next line, last line. Yog is the spiritual path where self distinguishes itself from. Yog is the spiritual path where self distinguishes itself from body, mind, ego, senses, etc. and identifies itself as pure consciousness. Identifies itself as pure consciousness. But this requires long and difficult practices. As samadhi is very difficult to maintain. Note. According to yoga philosophy, during practice of yoga in different stages, yogi is bestowed with या फिर achieves कर लो, जो भी करना चाहते हो, achieves supernatural powers like directly knowing the past, present and future, seeing subtle entities like angels and gods, seeing see through closed doors, walls, taming ferocious animals, taming मतलब देखा है वो योगियों को, मतलब शेर को, and the lion sits मतलब it starts behaving like a domesticated dog, है ना? So taming of ferocious animals, मतलब इसमें चाहो तो कितने भी लिख लो, है ना? appearing at two places at the same time, ये सब तो ऐसी बातें ही हैं. But yog warns, WARNS, warns all religious aspirants to not practice yoga with these ends in view. ये पावर्स के लिए योगा प्रैक्टिस नहीं करना चाहिए. You should not follow yogic practices just for getting these supernatural powers, because ultimately the end is liberation. Basically these are very small stages, है ना? In some texts they say it after asampragyata only you achieve kaivalya. In some texts they have also defined nirbij samadhi. This is a more elaborate one, therefore I gave it. But in most of the text, after asampragyata, they declare after that samadhi there is kaivalya. अगर टाइम ज्यादा है, सिर्फ समाधि पे ही क्वेश्चन है, write this elaborate one. But if the question is not directly on sampragyata and asampragyata samadhi, then you can just after asampragyata say one achieves jivan mukti. So peace is very, very, it is like something one has to experience to understand. So the moment you eat something sweet, you know it's sweet. How do you know? हाँ, तो जब खाते हैं उसको पता होता है sweet क्या है. Similarly, the one who has known peace will only know about the taste of peace. बहुत difference है. Absolutely different things. Peace and pleasure. Absolutely different things. Even in ethics, when we do it, we must have clarity. Very different things. So pleasure is, मतलब actually this is not required for philosophy class. है ना, ये life classes बनती जा रही हैं. तो हाँ. So देखो. In a nutshell, can a person really appear at two places simultaneously? Pratibha, we have to understand this is what yoga philosophy said. And until and unless you see yourself, you won't believe. And there is no one who can show you this at this current time. So you should always take it as what yoga philosophy believes. And if you really want to try, after selection, try yoga philosophy with ultimate end in mind. Ma'am, to attain liberation, is it necessary to go to some isolated places like mountains or leave family or material things? No, absolutely not. There is no requirement. Did anyone say that in the whole yoga philosophy, was there any talk of things like leaving the family? It is a mental discipline. It is a mental discipline. There are people who are much more spiritual, even while they are performing their professions, while they are living in families, while doing all their duties. They are very spiritual. And there are gurus, religious gurus, who are not spiritual at all, though they started with the spiritual end in mind. But moment, there are a lot of people, when they do take sannyas, they are very excited to take sannyas. And after 2, 3, 4 years, they realize the flaws of the whole life about it. It's a very regimented life. A life of a sannyasi is a very regimented life. It's not easy life at all. There are some people who think that if we leave house, if we leave profession, we will get more time to meditate. People will not let you, because then you will have the duty of finding food this way or that way. Again, you will have to think about it. Now you also have the duty of entertaining people. Bhakt will come, they will tell you problem. While in your family, you had to listen to the problems of only 2, 3 people. Maybe your wife or husband and maybe children. Only 2, 3 people. You could avoid them. You can, you can train them not to, get agitated by these random things. But now people come to you and everybody wants materialistic thing. And one person comes and tells you, गुरुदेव बस नया घर चाहिए, I want this, I want that. Everybody starts dumping their worries, starts dumping their desires on you. And now, even if you don't get affected, of course, we get affected by all these things. So slowly and steadily, I've seen people who started with a very spiritual bent of mind, but slowly they start feeling कि ये और ज्यादा फंस गए, वहां छोड़कर आए थे, यहाँ और ज्यादा फंस गए इन सब चीजों में. So people start to even dislike the whole process of being you. If you really want to do this yoga and all, don't do it first. Why? Because after we will do Vedant, you will stop thinking about yoga philosophy. So don't make big plans. It's all with each philosophy you will learn. Each philosophy will influence you and you will want to do that. It happens. It's very, very normal. Huh? So don't make big plans. You just have to understand that whatever you will do only after. Because before you become Buddha, you must become Siddhartha. Siddhartha the prince. Because only if you are a prince and then you leave it, then people realize that कुछ तो बढ़िया करा होगा इसने. Only then you can become Buddha. If I had not cleared this exam, will you listen to me this intently? So first, clear it and then do whatever. There might be other people who might have found the truth. But did people listen to them as they listen to Buddha? No. This means the first and foremost goal should be when a person achieves something, they it's like they hold a mark. वो अपनी एक अपनी credibility establish कर लेते हैं, है ना? That credibility is very much required. हम छोड़ेंगे तो उस चीज को ना जो हमारे पास होगी. If can a beggar on street say, हम तो सब छोड़ के बैठे हैं. I am a fakir. Can the person say that like this? Why can't? कुछ था ही नहीं, क्या छोड़ा? कुछ होगा तो छोड़ेंगे ना. तो छोड़ने के लिए पहले कुछ होना चाहिए. और जो छोड़ता है उसको लोग अप्रिशिएट करते हैं. लाइक महावीर भगवान, बुद्ध भगवान, all these people left their this, that, Rajpath, all of these things. So people appreciated it. और people छोड़ो, उन्होंने खुद भी उस बात को अप्रिशिएट किया. भाई आप तब छोड़ोगे ना जब आपके पास कुछ और बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट गोल होगा. You will leave something if you have some goal in mind. ऐसे थोड़े ना छोड़ मतलब ऐसे थोड़े ना वो राज्य से निकल गए. उन्होंने कहा चलो टहल कर आते हैं. He had some goal in mind, and if you have that serious a goal, then only it makes sense to pursue it. Else, all of these are infatuations which die after few months and years. So if you really feel we want to pursue any such thing, first be sure about it. And surety means achieve something which is highly materialistic, and then have the courage to leave it. Only then it shows that you have the guts to be spiritual. समझ में आया? हाँ, तो अभी किस पे फोकस करना है? Okay, fine. Ma'am, what is the difference between Sarvichar and Sanand? So in Sarvichar, you focus on the whole sensation, like all of the sensations. So maybe you are focusing just on the sound, then you are hearing all sounds that are coming your way. If you are focusing on thoughts, then you are letting all the thoughts pass by. But in Sanand, there is only one sensation you are focusing on. One sensation only. सारी सेंसेशंस को हटा के सिर्फ एक सेंसेशन पे फोकस करने लगे आप. फाइन, ठीक है. Okay, now our last concept is of God. Now we know that yoga philosophy accepted God as the 26th element. 25 of Sankhya and 26th element was accepted by yoga philosophy as God. And the moment they accepted God, things became easy. So why and how Prakriti and Purush comes together? Because God brings them together. And why they separate? Because. So the problem of Prakriti being unconscious and Purush being inactive resolved. No problem now. And now when they say God, they have also taken Ishwar Paridhanta as one of the niyam. According to them, though Patanjali himself, the original founder, Patanjali, Rishi Patanjali, he did not consider God to be of theoretical importance. He said, to explain Prakriti, Purush, or whole philosophy, God is not required. But he also recognized that we should accept God on practical concerns, on practical reasons. He said that it becomes easy for a person to meditate if you introduce the element of God. Like if I tell you, focus on this dot. After some time, you lose the conviction to focus on the dot. But if I give you your Ishtdev means the God you like, the image you like. And supposedly you are fan of Krishna Bhagwan, fan of Mahavir Bhagwan, fan of Buddha Bhagwan, whatever Bhagwan you want. And you take the image and then you start meditating. It will be easier because there will be this conviction. In initial period of meditation, you require this conviction. You require this, immediate feeling of attachment. Because meditation enjoyable और fruits कब देती है? अंत में. In starting there is nothing. It is only practice. So if you put God's figure in front, it becomes easier to meditate. That is why Patanjali himself accepted only the practical utility of God. But later on, the later philosophers and the commentators, they included God in big format because it's easier to explain all the things. So they started by discussing that God is the efficient cause. Material cause तो प्रकृति है. Consciousness पुरुष देते हैं. So who brings them together? Efficient cause? God. This means God is only like. So will God be? Is God useful in liberation? Is God creating liberation for people? No. Liberation is achieved by discriminative knowledge between Purush and Prakriti. So God is not instrumental in liberation. Only way Patanjali or only way any yoga philosopher explains God is that God helps as an image in meditation and then removes the impediments. So if you are feeling any hurdle in meditation, if you pray to God, Bhagwan, मुझे ध्यान करने में मदद करना. So God will help you and remove the hurdles from your path. His symbol is Om. He is the one who is Karam Faldata. So God decides that this person has done good, so let us give him good birth. But it is all based on the theory of karma. So basically, karma is decided, but he just over supervises it, whether everything is running fine or not. सबको अपने अपने हिसाब से कर्म का फल मिल रहा है कि नहीं मिल रहा. So he just overlooks the whole karma system. So he's taken as what do you say? Oh, supervisor. He's very powerful, omniscient, omnipotent. He's very powerful because he can remove hurdles from the people's path. But is he the ultimate aim of an aspirant? Is he destroyer, operator, and destroyer? Oh, sorry, creator, operator, and destroyer. God? Is he the one? Did he create Prakriti and Purush? No. Is he operating the Jagat in any manner? No, it is self-operational. Can God destroy the Jagat or Prakriti or Purush? No. No. So actually, world is created by Prakriti only with the presence of Purush. He is just the medium. God is just the medium to bring them together and take them away. God is doing nothing. Evolution is only through Prakriti. What is evoluting? What is doing the evolution? Only Prakriti itself. Only catalyst. Yes. Criticism? Bilkul. Criticism. How will you be explaining the independence of Prakriti and Purush if you introduce the element of God? Criticism of yoga philosophy? Very right. A little bit different, also a little bit similar also in both sets. So this is how they have conceptualized God. But is it a very lucrative or satisfying conception of God? आप God बोल रहे हो, generator, operator, destroyer है नहीं, material cause है नहीं, consciousness वाले भी नहीं है, consciousness भी नहीं दे रहे. कर्म फल के अंदर भी कर्म फल तो अपने आप वर्क करता है. He is only a supervising supervision. Everything's working fine. He's only a supervisor. His only job given to God is प्रकृति को ले आओ पुरुष के साथ, फिर वो एवोल्यूशन हजारों साल तक चलेगा, और फिर and in between he is given a very menial job of removing impediments. Can he give a good result to a bad person? Can he change the laws of karma? No. He can only help by removing certain impediments, even only those impediments that are removable. If a person is facing impediments based on his karma, God cannot remove that also. Very unsatisfactory conception of God. बस जबरदस्ती, ताकि प्रकृति पुरुष एक्सप्लेनेबल हो जाए और लोग खुश रहे. And because it becomes, the whole system becomes more appealing if you introduce God. So that is why there are disputes in yoga philosophy, in various commentators also, God ke liye. But ultimately we say that yoga is a theistic philosophy. Fine. So consciousness has no knowledge. Pure consciousness of Purush, there is no knowledge, no knowledge, no activity, nothing, no potency, no power, no bliss, pure consciousness. All of these things belong to God. ठीक है, गॉड थोड़ा सा लिख लेते हैं फटाफट फटाफट. आप मुझे बताओ क्यों है. Why Sankhya is Astic school? Because it believes in Vedas. Astic Nastic first class. Definition of Astic and Nastic in philosophy is okay. Right, God. In yoga philosophy is theistic. सबसे पहले लाइन ही लिख लो. योग philosophy is theistic. Theistic. Next point. Patanjali himself did not feel the necessity of God. Rishi Patanjali himself did not felt the necessity of accepting God to solve any theoretical problem. To solve any theoretical problem, full stop. According to him, God has more practical value than theoretical one. God has more practical value than theoretical one. Ultimate aim of yoga philosophy is achieving chitta vritti nirodh through. Ultimate aim of yoga philosophy is to achieve chitta vritti nirodh through samadhi yoga. Through samadhi yoga. But later on, commentators and philosophers accepted God on both, practical and theoretical grounds. Accepted both on practical and theoretical grounds. Features of God या फिर characteristics of God. Supreme person, free from defects, supreme person, free from defects, comma, perfect being, comma, eternal, all pervading, omnipotent, omniscient, being who is above, all pervading, omniscient, omnipotent, being who is above all individual selves, even liberated selves, are inferior to God. Even liberated selves are inferior to God because they were once in bondage, but God is but God alone is eternally free. God alone is eternally free. Eternally free. So God can never come in bondage. Eternally free. लिख लो, can never come in bondage. God is untouched by kleshas. God is untouched by kleshas, actions, effects, impressions, and he is an immortal, perfect spirit. He is an immortal, perfect spirit. ओमनिसिएंट वैसे हमने लिख लिया, तो he has complete full knowledge. चाहो तो लिख लो उसका डिटेल, चाहो तो लिख लो. He has the knowledge of everything. He has the knowledge of everything. That is infinite knowledge, infinite power, infinite bliss. They also gave certain proofs for God. They also gave certain proofs for God. Proofs of God. अच्छा, PYQs लगा दो अंकित, PYQs ही होगा तो. Proofs of God. हाँ, तो पुरुष में कुछ नहीं है. गॉड तो जब ओमनीसियंस आ गई, ओमनीपोटेंस आ गई, तो ऑल ऑफ दीज आर भाई बहन. ऑल दीज कॉन्सेप्ट्स आर. प्रकृति को किसने बनाया? सेल्फ कॉस्ट. ऑल ऑफ दीज थिंग्स आर सेल्फ कॉस्ट. ठीक है. फर्स्ट आर्ग्यूमेंट, फर्स्ट प्रूफ. Vedas, Upanishads, and other scriptures speak. Vedas, Upanishads, and other scriptures speak about God. इसलिए गॉड है. वेदों में लिखा है इसलिए है. सेकंड, according to law of continuity, there is always a gradation from lower to upper limit. There is always a gradation from lower to upper limit. Like atom is the smallest in magnitude. Like atom is the smallest in magnitude. बहुत सारा लिखना बेटा, पेज अगला ले ले. Atom is smallest in magnitude, while Akash is the greatest in magnitude. While Akash is greatest in magnitude. Similarly, there are degrees of knowledge and power. There are degrees of knowledge and power. There must be, therefore there must be degrees of power and knowledge. Therefore there must be someone who possesses perfect knowledge and perfect power. There must be someone who possesses perfect knowledge and perfect power. और ऐसा कौन होगा? Therefore God. So according to this argument, there is a law of continuity. There is always a continuity in things. There must be something lower and something higher. Just like atom is the smallest and Akash is the highest. Similarly, there is so much gradation found in knowledge and power. Are we all having same knowledge and same power? Difference in knowledge and power? This means that there must still be a highest limit of it. And that highest limit must be God. Therefore, God exists. Third, creation of the world. Creation of the world requires association of Purush and Prakriti. Association of Purush and Prakriti. While dissolution requires dissociation dissociation of Purush from Prakriti. Dissociation of Purush from Prakriti. Full stop. As independent realities, Purush and Prakriti cannot naturally get associated or dissociated. Being independent realities, Purush and Prakriti cannot be naturally explained to come together and go away. मतलब यार जो भी अंग्रेजी लिखनी है लिख लो, सब अंग्रेजी है. Cannot be said to be associated and dissociated naturally. Therefore, there must be an intelligent cause to bring them together. Who is that cause? Therefore, God exists. Fourth, there are people who perform karmas. There are people who perform karmas and must get results or consequences based on their karmas. God being the omniscient one, oversees the adrashta. Adrashta की spelling है ADRSTA. Adrashta. Adrashta means something which is unseen. कर्मों का फल कैसे मिलता है, किसी को पता है? Can you see directly how one action has led to another result? We don't know, because it is an unseen principle. You cannot see it. That is why this principle is known as, this law is known as adrashta. Fine. अभी इसको मत देखना, करवाऊंगी मैं. Okay. देखोगे फिर भी? अच्छा, अभी करवा दे, वो ऊपर करना पड़ेगा. Okay. Adrashta. So who is the supervisor of adrashta? Fifth, devotion to God allows people to concentrate easily. Devotion to God allows people to concentrate easily. Further, God may grace his devotees. God may grace मतलब आशीर्वाद है ना, grace his devotees by washing away their sins, evils, hurdles in life. Washing away their sins, evils, and hurdles from life, and making attainment of yoga easier for them, and making attainment of yoga easier for them. यहाँ पे लिख लो, but God cannot go against law of karma. Note, God cannot go against law of karma. एक और नोट लिख लो. The conception of God by yoga is highly unsatisfactory. Conception of God by yoga philosophy is highly unsatisfactory. As God is number one, not the generator, operator, destroyer. Not the generator, operator, destroyer. Not the material cause, because it is Prakriti. Not even the source of consciousness, because that is Purush. Not the cause of Jagat, because cause of Jagat is Prakriti. Only role given to him is only role given to God is explaining the relation of association and dissociation of Prakriti, explaining the association and dissociation of Prakriti, and removing hurdles from the paths of devotees. God is not even involved in liberation. People don't get liberated and go to God. People get liberated and they realize they are Purushas. Next, if there is God, then Prakriti and Purush are not independent. If there is God, then Prakriti and Purush are not independent. Yes, Pratibha, it is we are saying God is perfect being, but because he has desires, this line is also wrong. Conceptually it is wrong, but this is what yoga has written. Highly unsatisfactory. हाँ बताओ.
लोगों में तो ना मैं अपना बहुत समझाने के लिए बोलूं वेदा नहीं लगेगा ऑफिस वाले ना कि भाई ये ना शांति में बहुत मसला है और उसमें उन्होंने कोई पहले नहीं कि वेदा में डिफरेंस आया है तो कैसे माने कि वेदा में दम
क्या Astic means those philosophies who believe in authority of Vedas. Nastic means who do not believe in the authority of Vedas. Both Yoga and Sankhya believe in authority of Vedas. Now in Vedas, the lines in which way they are written, it proves God as well as disproves God. In Vedas, the interpretation of Vedas can be done in both manners. And this is why you see Sankhya has interpreted Vedas and said there is no God. There is Prakriti and Purush. The same Vedas will be interpreted by Yoga to prove God. The same Vedas will be interpreted by Nyaya to prove a different conception of God and a different conception of soul. Same will be used by Vaisheshika to prove atomistic theory. Same will be taken up by the Mimamsa to prove Karmakand. And the same Vedas will be interpreted by Vedanta philosophy. In Vedanta philosophy, the same Vedas will be interpreted by Shankaracharya to make us believe that there is only one reality, that is Brahma. The same Vedas will be interpreted by Ramanuj to make us believe that there are two realities, Chit and Achit. Then Madhvacharya will make us realize that Vedas talk about multiple realities. It talks about 5 kinds of bhed or differences, panch with bhed. Interpretation of Vedas is very difficult because Vedas are written in the form of sutras. And these sutras are open to interpretation. When you start reading Vedas, it is not anything philosophical in nature. Philosophy has been extracted by our interpretation. It is more a kind of a guide for what to do in practical life. Not exactly even a rule book. It is more like it is more like ऐसा उस वक्त पे किया था, ऐसा वहां पे हुआ था. It's more in the tone of ऐसा हुआ, ऐसा किया. Now ऐसा किया, लोगों ने interpret किया, ऐसा करना चाहिए. So the interpretation has been very wide. In one shlok, it appears, and this is the beauty of Sanskrit. Anybody who knows Sanskrit here? You know a little bit? क्या ये कौन सा नो होता है? मतलब ये नो होता है, ये भी चलो मान लिया नो, लेकिन ये कौन सा नो है? So the beauty of Sanskrit is the same word can be interpreted in very different meanings. जरा सी मात्रा इधर उधर करो और एक ही वर्ड के कई मीनिंग भी हो सकते हैं. So in Sandhi Vichhed, so if you do Sandhi of 4-5 terms, the meaning can be very different. And one can Vichhed or one can divide in many formats. This is the beauty. So when all of these Vedas, the language it is written in, it gives the open interpretation. If you read it in one form, in one sense, it says there is God. There is an Almighty who looks after us, who takes care of us. And in another interpretation, when you start reading it with some other interpretation taken, it appears they are talking about Brahm alone. They are saying there is no Ishwar. And there is also an interpretation which says there is only omniscient being, nothing. And another interpretation, you feel they are talking about Purush and Prakriti. So many things have been talked there, but interpretation depends on philosophy. And that is why we have 6 orthodox schools. Each one has taken concepts from Vedas, but interpretation are entirely different. Okay? What is Nirbid Samadhi? So Nirbid Samadhi is just the extension of Asampragita Samadhi, where there is no thought, nothing, empty space, completely empty space. And this empty space is when you get your understanding of your real nature as consciousness. So these samadhis have been divided into many. Some people have divided more than this. These 10 stages, they have divided more than this. And some people, in some notes, you will find only 2 stages. Sampragita and Asampragita. Khatam. And after Asampragita, there is Kevalya. All of them are correct. It is just the, our availability of space and time we can utilize. If we have a lot of space, bhar nahi rahi copy. Use all this. This is because you don't plan. This is the lack of practice. Once you will practice enough now, that vision will start coming, that whether I will be able to write it within this time frame and within this space or not. It comes with practice. Bij refers to something, anything, thought, sensation, thing, anything. So to think, there is a requirement of some thought. तो बीज, seed, किसी चीज की जरूरत है, तो बीज means seed. Fine. Okay. Criticize your philosophy. Of course, the criticism of God we have written. Let's criticize in general. First, criticizers say it is a school of magic and magical powers, supernatural powers. They are discussing such powers. But did yoga philosophy say that these powers should be the aim of philosophy? What should be the aim? Liberation. They are only the byproducts, which should be ignored. So yoga is not wrong in this. They are just telling what will happen if one goes under deep meditation. They are not saying it should be enjoyed. The magic should be used. Clear? लिख लो, criticism कर लो अपने आप से. बाकी जितने हमारे सांख्य के क्रिटिसिज्म्स हैं वो सब भी आ जाएंगे. प्रकृति पुरुष वाले, एवोल्यूशन वाले, सिर्फ वो वाले नहीं आएंगे. कॉन्टैक्ट, एक्सप्लेनिंग द कॉन्टैक्ट, ओनली दोज यू विल नॉट राइट, ऑल एल्स यू कैन राइट. लिख लो यहाँ पे, एक्सेप्ट द कॉन्टैक्ट थिंग. All the criticisms of Sankhya are equally applicable to yoga philosophy. What is the importance? Yoga notes, ये क्या है जो मैं दे रही हूँ? These are notes you are writing, right? These are the notes, Sunil. There are no handwritten notes. There are only your handwritten notes. You people have become कामचोर, spoon feeding. हाँ क्या? हाँ, न्याय के भी दे दिए इन लोगों ने. मैं सोच रही थी कि डिक्टेट ही करवाऊंगी, लेकिन इन लोगों ने पहले से प्रिपेयर करके दे दागे वो कर दिया. हाँ हाँ, चलो डिक्टेट नहीं, लेकिन ठीक है. वैसे न्याय के अंदर इतना कुछ ऐसे डिक्टेट करने वाला है भी नहीं, है ना. इट्स मोर फ्लो चार्ट बेस्ड, है ना, मोर क्लासिफिकेशन बेस्ड. सो वी विल डू, है ना, वी विल राइट समथिंग मोर. The people who will write their notes will get more authentic notes. Okay, fine. So, ma'am, PDFs are better to revise. हाँ, somebody please, who will volunteer to put PDF for people? ग्रुप नहीं है हमारे पास. तुम्हारे पास ग्रुप नहीं है? You can share on that, right? You can't share? So where you people communicate with the coordinators? Personal chat. Personal chat you communicate? So many of you. You are 300. Okay. Okay. So what we will do, we will create a informal, formal, what do you say, community channel for on Telegram. But you people will have to maintain discipline, right? Because if 300 people start putting messages on that, nobody will be able to handle it, है ना? We don't want chaos, and we don't want you to talk to each other too much, है ना? Nobody, no girl, boy should come to me that other person is harassing me, they are asking my number, they are following me on Facebook. है ना, they are excessively commenting on my talks, my chats, my answers. You know, you will also have to you know, some kind of discipline you will have to maintain. Fine. So on experimental basis, let's create a community where you people can share good content with each other, maybe, है ना, and talk to coordinators. I will also be there in that group, है ना? I will be there, and if anybody's misbehaves, and you know what I do to people who misbehave? Simply, है ना? चलो, criticism. Criticism लिख लिया क्या हम लोगों ने? अच्छा, importance. Yoga philosophy talks about deeper level of consciousness. Yoga philosophy talks about deeper levels of consciousness. Deeper level of consciousness other than perceptual and empirical one. जो दिख रहा है उसके beyond भी हमारी consciousness है. Beyond perceptual or empirical one. This has been proved by science. This has been proved by science and psychology now. That there are dark regions, dark or hidden regions of consciousness which may become known with certain practices. चाहो तो एक सोसाइटी का नाम भी लिख लो, ब्रैकेट में लिख लो, द सोसाइटी फॉर साइकिकल रिसर्च. Society for Psychical Research, as well as Modern School of Psychoanalysis. Have given evidence. Next point. Even Western philosophers like Aristotle, Aristotle. Western philosophers like Plato, Aristotle, Spinoza, Leibniz, Kant, and Hegel. Spinoza. अच्छा, कई बच्चों को स्पेलिंग नहीं आती होगी ना अभी? ठीक है? Plato, Aristotle, Spinoza, Leibniz, Kant, and Hegel have also reached to the similar conclusions. Next importance, with the acceptance of God, Yoga philosophy is better able to explain than Sankhya philosophy. then Sankhya philosophy. This finishes नहीं हम लोग सांख्य हैं बुद्धिज्म सांख्य तो हमने देख लिया था है ना so last year question explain chit are you able to see explain are you able to see now explain chit and its modification in the philosophy of yoga. Why does yoga philosophy prescribe the cessation of modification of chit? Give reasons in support of your answer. Chit vritti and chit vritti nirodh and chit bhumis. You will have to discuss all this. Fine. तुम लोग लेकर आया करो तुम लोगों को मिल गए ना You have the PDF, right? Open your PDF then. And online people also open your PDF. Discuss the nature and different stages of samadhi as per Patanjali Yoga and examine the role of Ishwar in it. Doable? 10 marks. Explain with reference to yoga philosophy the nature of kaleshas. How does removal of these lead to kaivalya? Direct question, doable. Explain the difference between sampragyata and asampragyata samadhi. How would yoga philosophy comprehend the chitta levels of a scientist? This is a good question. How would yoga philosophy comprehend the chitta levels of a scientist, a God-realized devotee, and a self-realized yogi? चित्त भूमि बताओ किसकी कौन सी होगी? पहली बार मुझे पूरे फिलॉसफी ऑप्शनल में एक क्वेश्चन जो पसंद आया, प्रैक्टिकल एप्लीकेशन. So साइंटिस्ट की चित्त भूमि कौन सी होगी? विक्षेप, right? Because rajas, I want to search this. How will be the chitta bhumi of a God realized yogi, devotee? Ekal. Only way that person can concentrate is God. And self-realized yogi? Self-realized ho chuka usko. Niruddha. Fine. So you will have to explain all that. Chit modification, this, that, all of these things. What is meant by yoga's chit vritti nirodh? Explain its effects according to yoga philosophy. Differentiate the concept of kaivalya as discussed in Jain and yoga philosophy. बस वही लिखना है. How it is achieved and what is the difference. So in Jain philosophy, when the Jains achieve liberation, where do they go? In what state? Anant Chatushtay, having 4 kinds of perfectness. And in yoga philosophy, when one achieves the liberation, discriminative knowledge, one realizes its true nature, that is Purush. Okay. What are kaleshas? How can these be eliminated? Explain. Kaleshas 5 type के हैं. कैसे eliminate होंगे? 8 steps. What is bondage according to yoga philosophy? What is bondage? No, ignorance. And you can also write about the 3 types of suffering. Mention about it. the same it is. Adhyatmic, Adi Bhautik, and Adi Devik. We have discussed that in Sankhya. Same. What is, explain the method of attaining Kaivalya? 8 steps. Again, repeated. Explain the nature and level of Sampragyata Samadhi. How does each level lead more towards a Sampragyata Samadhi? सविचार जितना भी हम लोगों ने लिखे हैं ये 4 yes. Explain the possibility of Jivan Mukt. Critically compare it with the yoga account of Kaivalya. So you talk about Jivan Mukti, then you talk about from how a person moves from Jivan Mukti to Videha Mukti, and how yoga has accounted for Kaivalya. Give a critical account for the concept of Chitta Vritti in yoga philosophy. So you talk about modification of Chitta Vritti. Sab mein content, what will differ? Arrangement and proportion. Critically evaluate the statement that Yoga Sutra emphasizes more on praxis than on theory, more on action rather than, because Ashtanga Yoga is a practice. It's a discipline. You do it. So earlier in Sankhya philosophy, they said discriminative knowledge hone chahiye. Practical guide di unhone kaise? So they focus more on practice. Give your critical comments on the assertion that school of yoga broadly accepts Sankhya ontology. Similarity. You talk about what is similar in their metaphysics. Yoga is more than a psychophysical exercise. Analyze this statement and support your conclusion with arguments. Is it a psychophysical exercise? Ultimate aim is liberation. And this psychophysical exercise is towards a aim. So even disciplining of mind, even yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, even the bodily processes are all directed towards the ultimate aim of achieving liberation. It is the practice, or it is the building of body, building of mind, building of discipline. All of this is done with the ultimate aim. Not to body building के लिए नहीं कर रहे हैं वो आसन. Swimming करने के लिए अपनी respiratory power नहीं बढ़ा रहे. किस लिए बढ़ा रहे हैं? For liberation. Conception of Kaivalya according to Yoga. You talk about Kaivalya. What is meant by Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodh? ये UPPCS के भी देख लो. जहां से भी मिले questions देख लेने चाहिए. है ना? Explain Chitta Vritti and its effect according to Yoga philosophy. और भी देख लेना जहां से मिले, है ना? There must be more questions, I think, in different PCS also. Anyone preparing for PCS also? Anyone of you? No? तो तुम स्टूडेंट भी तो यूपीएससी वाले हो, तो क्या हुआ? Okay, bye bye. अच्छा एक सेकेंड, हम there are some doubts in answer sheet evaluation which they said to, ऊपर करो, नीचे 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 नीचे, हाँ, which they said to avoid something like I should not use negative statements in conclusion like unethical norms of Charvak leads to hedonism. Right, philosophical conclusions, not general like Jain provides ethics to be practiced. Yes. So slowly and steadily you should move towards philosophical type of conclusions, but it will come naturally. Don't worry. I am fat is meaningless if I don't mean conscious body. Makes no sense to write. I don't know क्या लिखा है. हाँ? So there must be some problem in sentence formation, I think. हाँ? देहात्मवाद का क्रिटिसिज्म है, लेकिन मुझे लगता है सेंटेंस फॉर्मेशन उतना करेक्ट नहीं होगा. दैट इज व्हाई दे माइट हैव सेड दिस. एंड इफ यू हैव ऑनलाइन पीपल, इफ यू हैव एनी प्रॉब्लम, let me create this community, है ना, where you can drop in your requests So if you are having some troubles, so 3, 5, 4 people, if having troubles, we will ask these evaluators to take a Zoom session for you. है ना, जिसने कॉपी चेक करी है उसकी जान खाओ, सिंपल है ना. Let them explain why they have cancelled something or why they have corrected or made something incorrect. Fine. Okay. Bye bye. Tomorrow we will start with Nyaya school.